Hey everybody, my name is Paul Esden Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. And by the way, before we go any further, make sure you like the video, hit subscribe down below for more New York Jets content all day, every day, with phenomenal interviews like Mike K, we had earlier this week, Connor Rogers, who we had last week, former players, insiders, you name it, you got it. You get that here on the show. We have live streams every week with the Jet Zone, talking all things New York Jets, my weekly New York Jets podcast. Of course, videos just like this where we give you a take and talk about something that is happening around the New York Jets. And there's a reason why we're hopping on so late to make sure we get this video in as soon as possible. And here it is. New York Jets head coach Robert Saleh wasn't scheduled to speak with the media until training camp began in full earnest, with the veterans reporting on the 26th and the first practice for the 27th. However, he decided to speak with the media. That was CBS Sports HQ. Here on a Thursday is when he did the interview. And by the time you're listening to this, we're going to just play you the clip. It's on my Twitter account, which is, by the way, always a friendly reminder that you can follow me on Twitter at BoyGreen25 and anywhere at BoyGreen25 on social media. Robert Saleh joined Tommy Tran on CBS Sports HQ, and he was asked about the latest with Mekhi Becton. We know that's been a drama, crazy situation where, oh boy, is he overweight? Is he out of shape? Does he care? Injuries and all this other hoopla. Well, you know what? We've heard all kinds of sources from Rich Cimini's, Connor Hughes, and others, but we got it from the horse's mouth from Robert Saleh, and he was asked about Mekhi Becton. Let's play the clip, and then we'll kind of give you our take on it. Here is again Robert Saleh on CBS Sports HQ talking to Tommy Tran, and here's the Q&A about Mekhi Becton.
Let me circle back to the O to talk about, Mekhi Becton. What's the latest with Mekhi? Where do you envision when he's healthy, where he's going to be specifically for you in front of Zach?
Mekhi's had he's been really good over the last 40 days. He's been in the building every day. He's been putting in work. He's got no restrictions from my understanding with regards to the knee. His weight's getting down. He looks really good, and we're really excited about the direction that he's headed.
And let's get right to that. That I think is a key to me. Okay, with all of this that's going on as it pertains to Mekhi Becton, everything that Robert Saleh just said is good news. Because to be honest, if you've been paying attention, Robert Saleh, of course, was not on the Jets when they drafted Mekhi Becton in the 2020 NFL Draft. Adam Gase was still here. Sorry to bring that one up, but Robert Saleh was not here, so he's got no direct correlation, no direct line to Mekhi Becton. And every opportunity that Robert Saleh, has been in front of a podium, whether it's the Senior Bowl, the NFL owners meetings, his own press conferences, whether it was during the beginning parts of the season or last offseason or what have you, Robert Saleh has always been blunt, direct, or critical of Mekhi Becton. He has pushed him. He has said things like at the Senior Bowl, Mekhi Becton is going to have to come back and quote unquote earn this job. He's going to have to work for it. He's going to have to go get it. He has said throughout this offseason, if he wants to be great, he's going to have to take care of his body. And he said all those kind of things. And of course, the thing that sent some people over the wayward was this, is that Robert Saleh seemingly went out of his way to say, wow, Zach Wilson's beefy. Wow. Denzel Mims is in great shape. Like, he went out of his way to say that about a lot of people. And then when asked about Mekhi Becton in a seemingly similar situation where you throw up the softball to him and he smacks out the ballpark saying, yeah, Mekhi Becton's in great shape, he did not do that either. So it raised speculation that if he didn't do it, maybe Mekhi Becton wasn't in shape. And then the latest from Connor Hughes said that according to two coaches he spoke with that saw Mekhi Becton step on the scale, said he was pushing 400 pounds and he was out of shape and all that jazz. Well, you just heard it there for the head coach. For the first time, effusive praise from Robert Saleh and Mekhi Becton. Let's bring back the highlights of what he just said. Mekhi Becton over the last 40 days, that's again from the end of mandatory minicamp through training camp, has been quote unquote in the building every day. Phenomenal news. That's great to see that level of dedication. Number two, he has no restrictions from Robert Saleh's understanding with the knee, which is great news because again, he got injured way back in week 1, but he's a big dude. Everyone rehabs differently. And it seems like Mekhi Becton from a health standpoint is ready to go. Now you could have probably told yourself that based on the Instagram workout videos, but still it's great to hear it from the coach. coach. Coach also said, quote, his weight is getting down. Again, that was another big push, whether you're Connor Hughes saying he was pushing 400 pounds or you saw the picture with him at the dentist, you're like, oh, he can't possibly be 400 pounds. And then Connor Hughes returned that and said, well, I don't care what pictures say. Those don't step on scales. Again, there's been a lot of hoopla, a lot of crap out there on the Mekhi Becton situation. Saleh says his weight's getting down. He says he's looking good, and they love the direction he's going. All of that is brand new stuff, quite frankly, for us coming in because we didn't quite necessarily get that same conversation earlier. Why don't I do this? Because we're talking about this, I want to give you guys full context because I referenced it earlier from Connor Hughes. So we're going to go to a clip from the Can't Wait podcast, if that's okay with you guys. And this is a bit of a longer clip, but I think it is certainly worth it. Again, whether or not you guys want to believe Connor Hughes is up to each individual that's watching this show. What I try to do is I try to lay everything out on the line and give you guys an opportunity to do whatever you'd like. I give you guys the information. It's up to you whether or not you're going to take that with you guys. So with that being said, I'm going to play that clip here from Connor Hughes. This is from the Can't Wait podcast. This is his take on the Mekhi Becton situation and everything that's going on there. Here is Connor Hughes.
And
Let's
then
play
Mekhi
that.
Becton's obviously the other one because there is a lot of criticism about him. And I know you guys tag me in the pictures that he posts every other day. And I get tagged in the videos that he posts every day. And I see he went to the dentist and that's cool. I'm happy. But like at the end of the day, photos aren't what step on the scale, So when he stepped on the scale and I called two coaches and we're like, hey, how'd it look? How did it go? And I'm told he was out of shape and he was overweight. I mean, that's what I'm going to report. I'm not going to go off what the picture says. I'm going to go off what the people inside the building tell me. So for him, I don't think there's a single player that's more important because this is a player with all world talent, all pro, Pro Bowl, game-changing, dynamic, franchise left tackle potential. That is what this guy has as long as he is mentally checked in and physically on the field. If he's mentally checked in and physically on the field, there are maybe two or three other people, Trent Williams, and maybe one or two other guys who can physically do what Mekhi Becton's capable of doing. He just has to be on the field to do it. And the Jets believe that his physical shape has been what has led to him coming off the field, both as a rookie and some in his second year. Like they believe that his physical shape is one of the reasons why he did get hurt in that Panther game. Like that's one of the things that I was told. I mean, you want to hate me for it? Okay, fine. But that's just what I was told. So I'm telling you what I was told. That's what the Jets feel. So if he's able to show up to camp and these pictures that all you guys tag me in are true, that this guy is at the weight the Jets want and he's in the best physical shape of his life and he goes out there and he plays like he is capable of playing, you're talking about a guy now who has the word bust being floated around his name and the concerns being floated around his name and the need to replace potentially being floated around his name to now saying, F all that. This guy's a Pro Bowl player, all world player, all pro player. The Jets need to start thinking about an extension and he's going to be a mainstay on this offensive line for the next 10 years. I mean, that's how he can take this storyline and the stigma around him right now and just completely do a 180 with it if he shows up to camp in shape and performs like the Jets know he's capable of on the field.
And there you go. Again, that is Connor Hughes on the Can't Wait podcast. Again, I've already heard it from a lot of you Jet fans in the comments. You're not Connor Hughes fans, and that's fine. By the way, he's still going to cover the Jets in his next job. So you guys are going to just have to learn to live with Connor Hughes, who's a good friend of mine who's been on the show before, and he's great. So again, you can believe what you want. I will push back on one point that Connor Hughes said. Again, it's not from him. It's from what he said he's been told from the team. The thing that I push back the most on all the Connor Hughes stuff is one individual nugget, and that's the Carolina Panthers game. Again, we can bring it up for you with the clip, but again, Mekhi Becton, his injury week 1 against the Carolina Panthers was a complete and utter fluke. Like he was 100% rolled into, and that's the reason why it happened from my perspective. I'm going to actually bring it up. We actually have it here on the screen, so I'm going to throw that up here for everyone who is watching. Let's bring up, this is Mekhi Becton here. So I'm going to show it. You're going to see a GIF here. This is of the play where Mekhi Becton, again, blew out his leg in the week 1 season opener last year against Carolina Panthers. You're going to see here as it looks like 94 is just kind of thrown in because GVR blew the block, so he fell into him. So in other words, this is a fluke. Yeah, that is Greg Van Roten, who is part of the guy that is part of the reason why him getting blown up throws into Mekhi Becton's back of his leg, which, by the way, no one could have prevented. You just saw it there on the clip. So I push back on that the Jets say that's part of the reason that he, that he was injured. You could say a lot of things, whether it's a rehab, what have you, with Mekhi Becton and the weight and the work ethic, all those kinds of things I can't see. I can only see the Instagram videos and things of that nature in terms of the workouts and talking to some people. But as far as I know, in terms of the specific with the week one and saying that's the reason the Jets believe that part of it was the out of shape thing, I push back aggressively on that because that just seems like complete malarkey. It seemed like a fluke thing where he gets hurt. He was a player that was already hurt throughout his rookie season. Then you have kind of this freak thing when he's hurt then, and we only have 2 year sample size. He didn't play basically at all in year two because of what we just said. And then year one, he missed a bunch of action too. So I think the point of the matter is this, is that this is great news to hear from Robert Saleh. Again, ultimately, whether we're hearing positive words or negative words, at the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. If Mekhi Becton is ready week one, he's blowing people up, no one's going to care about anything that was said. You heard that on the back end of the Connor Hughes clip. On the other side, if Robert Saleh is praising him to all heck, and then all of a sudden during the season he sucks or is injured or whatever, then it's not going to matter either. So the words may not mean anything at this point. Again, the proof will ultimately be in the pudding. But I got to say, it is comforting as a Jets guy who's been super concerned about the Mekhi Becton situation forever, because how could you not be with everything that was going on? And now it's just fingers crossed and hoping he's going to be ready to go, and he looks like he will be. Quick nugget on the latest here: he was placed on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list, and basically I'll give you the short version. A lot of people kind of overreacted to that, and I'll explain, is that if you're going to put someone on the PUP list, you have to do it prior to training camp. You can't just randomly start putting them on it once training camp begins and once the season begins, for that matter. So if you're going to use it, you have to use it prior to training camp. So it makes sense to use that as a roster designation to make sure all these guys, and by the way, Mekhi Becton wasn't the only one. Carl Lawson, George Fant, and others were CJ Uzama, and I believe Sumai Dramia, I blew his name, but he's an offensive lineman too. He was on the list as well. But again, the point is that you could just be super cautious with these guys, which, by the way, Robert Saleh has been cautious when new guys are coming in or they're coming off of injuries or free agents being, kind of assimilated into the team. He takes a long approach, which, by the way, is the right decision to make sure these guys are ready for the regular season, because that is what matters. But folks, Robert Saleh breaks his silence here on Mekhi Becton with some good praise, which, by the way, hasn't come early and often enough for Mekhi Becton. Thanks for joining us for a late video here. Had to get on to give you the latest on the Mekhi Becton situation. If you'd like to read more about that story, go to the link down below. I am the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Got a full column about it. Talk about the details. Check out the article down below. And if you're checking out things, make sure you like the video and hit subscribe down below for more awesome Jets content. We got great stuff coming for you right here on youtube.com/BoydGreen25. Training camp's right around the corner, baby. And as always, football is back.